Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody that's chimed in for RESHAPE podcast. This is our very first episode of season 1. And the idea of this behind this is to transform construction through technology and innovation. There are 3 parts to this show. There's a market trend that we'll go over something quick, that's something trending in the marketplace right now. Then we will have an expert interview, which you can see Dr. Syal on the screen right now from Michigan State University. I'll give a better introduction to him in a minute. And then we'll be concluding with a tech talk with Art. And then we hope you have a good time with this show. And we will get into this right now. So our first thing right now that we're going to talk about is talk about something very simple. This is not hard to do. QR codes. And any of you guys that have been involved with construction in the last year or so, if you walk to a job site, you've seen these pop up. COVID, it's amazing how COVID transformed our industry to force us down the road of technology that we may have been dragging our heels or kicking and screaming a little bit on. But if you walk up to a job site lately, you've seen a QR code right away because you have to check in for COVID health reasons. But contractors have been using these for a little while. And here's some of the things. I'm not going to read it all, but contractors have been using it for tracking assets on their job sites. I already talked about checking in. Defining work opportunity procedures. For example, in this picture here, you can see they've got a code on the wall. They can scan it and they can quickly see what's going on. Like maybe they give them the schedule. Maybe they give them, a pull plan of who goes in what order. But anyway, these are just some of the things. These things are really easy to do, guys, by the way. I put a QR code right here on the screen so that you can read the lady's her blog. So I got this from Approva. And these take literally a second. You grab the UR link, and then you go to one of these free coder sites, put it in. It gives you an image. You cut it, paste it, and away you go. Dr. Syal, you got any thoughts on those that you've seen from your experience?
The QR codes have started to show up more and more. And I could see some of the people who are technology savvy, or some of the people who think of using technology to help their staff not get flustered if they're not sure about the information. So my question is, how much information, what kind of information somebody on the field can get? What do you put on the QR code on your drawings? So what can I get on the field, and who all can get it?
Yep, you're jumping ahead to the end, so I'm going to save that one to the end. We'll cover a little bit more of that in Tech Talk. But the QR code is basically hosted on somebody's site or wherever it is, or an app that whatever you want to give them, you can produce. But the trick is the technology behind it that supports it, and can people get access to wherever the link takes you is really what it is. So you're basically giving them a fancy website address quickly that they can snap with their phone. All right, we'll keep moving along. I want to shift into talking to Dr. Syal. He is our expert interview. Anybody that, I'll try to keep this short because this guy, you can write a book about his history and how he got here in the construction industry and all the impacts he's made. But I first met Dr. Syal when I was a construction management student at Michigan State going for my graduate degree. And Dr. Syal, you've got a long history of all the accomplishments, but you've been at Michigan State since, I couldn't even pick up the date. It's been a while. When did you start at Michigan State?
94.
94, okay. Walk me through how you got into the industry.
Well, I'll be brief because I could give you a very long answer. I was think about it. In 1979, I finished my civil engineering degree. And at that time, you are thinking of which way to go, structural design, different aspect of civil engineering. And I was in New Delhi, India at that time. And India had just signed on to host Asian Olympic Games in 1982. And suddenly there were an explosion of construction, exciting construction. Things were getting modernized. And that attracted me towards construction. So that's how I got from civil engineering degree to construction. So I worked for many years in India, then in Middle East countries, then in Northern Africa, and then in the Boston area. So while I was working for a GC in the Boston area, I decided I want to become a professor. So I left the industry, joined Penn State, did my PhD, and became a professor of construction management. And I have been at Michigan State since 1994. So that's kind of a very quick journey and entry into construction side.
Well, and I was looking at your bio too. You've been, it looked like, on 4 different continents doing work. So you're quite seasoned across the whole industry in all the different areas. Anything that stood out to you of working around the world versus somebody that's more centralized to like the United States?
You know, I always, that's a good question. What strikes out? A lot of time we get caught in science and technology aspect of construction business. I always tell people that construction business is as much an art as much it is science and technology. So understand so-called softer side of things also. And one thing which I always have carried, I learned from others who did well, and I have carried with me is be aware and respectful of people you work with, because you will be working people in all different levels of work, all the way from field workers to dealing with clients, dealing with project managers, everyone. Be aware and respectful of that. So I learned to keep that side balanced with so-called techie side.
Hmm.
Does that
All
make
right.
sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. One of the best things I ever learned in my career in the construction management industry was your contractors are your experts. As much as we think we know and we've studied and all the degrees we've got, they're really the experts that we need their advice and their guidance.
Right.
All right. That I know the last question was kind of off the script, but that's the point of the show, is to pick up on stuff like that. Any principles or routines or philosophies that you've really stuck with over the years that you would encourage to other construction managers or professionals?
You know, it's related to my last answer. Just respectful of everyone who's working in the industry. You can learn a lot from different people,
Mhm.
because being aware and respectful, you can learn a lot from a backhoe operator than you can learn from anyone else about excavation and backfilling, right? So
Mhm.
my best philosophy, which I try to follow, is take as much as you can from different people, give them respect. They will open up and share things with you. That's the best way to build your repertoire and
Mhm.
get to know this so-called complicated industry with different aspects.
Mhm. Okay. Let's see here. Next question I have is, since we're talking about innovation in construction, you are on the forefront of a tremendous amount of research projects. I know you do. You've got tons of them that you've done. What are some of the innovative ones that maybe you're working on now that you think might have an impact on construction in the near future?
So the construction management program at Michigan State University is a very old program. It started in late 40s, right? And then sometime in 90s, late 80s, 90s, it brought the master's program. And sometime in early 2000s, it got approved to offer PhD degrees. So our program has changed over the years, even during my time. I came here to help build the graduate side of the program. That was one of my charge given to me. So now we have faculty who bring different expertise here. Some are more interested on the technology side, some are interested on project management side, some are interested on the human side, and each faculty brings their expertise and are involved in research. Some of the areas we have research going on, I can tell you, we have fair amount of work going on in sustainable design and construction and energy efficiency, that area. We have fair amount of work going on in residential development and construction. For example, we just looked into prefabrication for residential. We have a faculty member who has brought a lot of energy into working on mass timber buildings. Mass timber construction is a new area which is coming up. We have a faculty member who are looking into impact of human and social aspects in the success of projects. And then we have faculty members who are continuously keeping up with technology and looking at technological advancements, right? All these areas, whether it's BIM, whether it's AR, VR, whether it is integrated software for project management, or whether it is looking into smart homes, smart buildings, smart cities. So pretty varied aspect. That's what we have a good group of faculty who are bring different expertise and are working in some of these areas. And you are aware of that. You were here as a graduate student. You saw different faculty working in research. So it has now gone continued on those areas, but more technological innovations have come in the repertoire.
Mm-hmm. You actually dragged me into teaching for a period of my life too. Never saw that
Yes.
one coming. That was a curveball I did not see coming. I thought you guys were joking when you approached me about it. And then I remember, short story to interrupt you, I remember going back, because I signed off on my thesis. I was so glad to be done. And you guys said, we're only signing it if you agree to teach. And I said, whatever, just sign it. I need to be out of here. I spent 5 years writing this thing. Let me get out of here. And I remember Dr. Tarek calling me like 3 weeks before the January semester. He's like, you do realize you have a class. And I was like, you guys were serious? But then jump started me into teaching for a little while.
I have to tell you that. I mean, just go off script here. When you were doing your master's, you had the pieces. I could see that. You were more mature than typical master students. You understood the industry. I think you had the pieces to understand the thing and explain it better. And that's why you're doing it. This podcast is an example that and we saw that at that time. And that is why we thought, with your interest in technology, your understanding of design and construction, with your background, you will be a great teacher. And you did very well here. I mean,
you bring up again, I love the part of this because we're getting off script and this is good stuff. But one of the things too that in our construction industry is mentoring too. And I've noticed as I've gotten older, I'm turning 43 this weekend, that one of my skill sets that I've developed over the years is to nurture people and to mentor them and to pull pieces out of them. And I've noticed that, especially when I was teaching for a period, that you can see who wants it and who doesn't want it. And they kind of pull more from you. They pull more energy out of you. And that was a skill set I'm glad I've developed over time. And mentors, and maybe this is not where we're going with technology, but mentoring has become such a huge part of my lifestyle. And, it started with a lot of you professors. Good. All right, we'll keep going. Okay. Good stuff. Let's see here. One of the next questions I had: what advice would you give for your technology related to technology innovations for, say, the construction managers out there? I know we have a seasoned industry where we have people that are 30 years of possibly doing things the same way. How do you guys approach some of those people that are really set in their ways?
You pointed out correctly. Our construction industry is a very traditional based industry, and a lot of time changing things are not easy here. But I think the technology, as people see it is helping their operations, their workers, people start to embrace it. So my couple advices, I think of that as I look at the whole work and where industry is going, because that's part of our role, is looking at the bigger picture. I think one of the advice I'll give is, companies keep up with the fast changing technology. But there's a but coming. But realize how adopting that technology might change the job roles of your people. If you are, for example, if you are going to implement a software which integrates estimating and scheduling, the line of separation between estimator and scheduler start to go away. So there are lot of job roles are going to change, right? And adopt technology, but find the right qualified people and be flexible in adjusting their job roles. Then they will be successful in adopting and implementing technology. Otherwise, people gets dug in, and that technology does not get adopted. That's one. One more kind of related. I've seen over time, a lot of people come up with software and other technological solutions which without understanding the industry well. I always tell companies who talk to me is, if you want to implement a new solution, make sure that solution has some track record in industry and do some research, because there are many new things out there which are looking for a guinea pig. Don't be the guinea pig unless you want to be in the forefront of trying things. But a lot of small, medium companies, when they think they are the guinea pig, then they turn sour on that technology. It takes them a long time to come back. Does that make sense? You have been working in technology with proper background. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I think I'm one of the exceptions to your rule there, because that's been my niche in growing in the industry, has been that guinea pig that's out there like, hey, what can we, like, I remember when iPads first came out, I grabbed my iPad and I was like, what can we do with this in construction? And a lot of things I tried didn't work, you know.
Right.
But every once in a while, you hit a home run with something that, hey, instead of rating, like a lot of I'd watch. I had to be an observer of our industry for a while, and I remember you telling stories about that when you were early on in your career about watching people work and then thinking there's a better way to do it, And that's what I had to do a lot with, and I do that all day, with collaborative and what we do is constantly looking at our teams, the contractors we work with, and saying, we could probably do it better if we tried this, And sometimes they fail, but I love it. One of my mentors always talks about gamblers never talk about their losses; they only talk about their wins. So a lot of people are excited about some of the wins we've had, and I'm like, yeah, there was a lot of wasted money in the process, But
You are right. You are what we call an early adopter. The companies who are early adopters have that mindset and have resources to stumble along the way and learn it. They are good at those things. But I always keep thinking of small and medium sized companies who want a solution and see the return out of it quickly.
yeah,
If you give them the guinea pig mode, they will turn sour on technology. And I've
yep,
seen many companies who do that way. But early adopters are the ones who push the technology. We need more of them.
yep. One
And
of the things too I noticed is being an early adopter, like you're talking about, when I was with the former construction management company I was with, being their BIM expert, I couldn't be the vocal piece. I couldn't be the one pounding the drum of we got to do this, because no one wants to listen to this prima donna with all the cool toys and all the, and I was actually younger too. I was in my, late 20s, early 30s, and I was probably the least qualified person to talk about how this is going to change the industry, And so what we realized strategically, my boss was pretty smart about this. He said, let's get the victories, but let's let the seasoned veterans be the mouthpiece. Everybody knows you achieved it, but it doesn't matter who gets credit as long as we're going forward.
so you brought up a lesson of life. Sometime the key is make it their idea.
Yep.
If you can make it their idea, it will fly.
Well, and in fact, whenever we would do our company get-togethers and talk about lessons learned on jobs, I was never in the front and center. I was always in the back of the room, and we'd let the foreman talk about, here's how I never want to do a job without BIM ever again now, because it was too valuable. Let him sell it to his peers, not me. But
Remember, I said in the beginning, this industry is as much an art as it is technology. But you're talking about the art side of the industry. How to get this technology adopted, implemented, and that's what you're talking about right now.
Yep. Let's see here. I'm trying to get back to my questions here. I lost them here. We're going to go off the fly now. What would you give? So we're talking to possibly hundreds of industry experts here. What advice would you give them? Or let's start to say maybe the younger crowd.
Okay.
What advice would you give them to build on, like a solid nugget to build on as they go forward in their career?
A young person, I would first tell them that this is an exciting industry. If I could tell myself I'm back at the age, I would say this is an exciting industry. What industry where you can work in the office, you can work in the field, you can deal with different levels and types of people. At the end of the day, you walk away and say, aha, I built that. I have something built. You know what I mean? Walk by every day and look at it and beat your chest. Exciting industry. I also tell people, stay excited because it's very fulfilling, because this industry, we talked about traditions and all before. This is the industry which lets you stay grounded with one leg and lets you fly in the air with the other leg. So you can stay grounded because this industry is full of traditions, full of hundreds of years of systems and traditions and thinking and all that. So it holds you back, that once you want to change too fast or want to try too many funky things, so to say, you can stay grounded in one leg. But with all the technological innovations coming and how they are making life better and how they are making more efficient and effective, you can fly in the air. So it lets you do both things. And I think that's a great thing to have balance also. And I think that makes this industry very exciting. So I'll tell people the excitement of doing all these things. Then they will go into it with true thinking, that it is not just building things, it's also the excitement of keeping things within time and cost. It is also learning how the old traditions are and how to change them some to make it effective, how to bring latest technological innovations and bring them into this industry to make it better. It's an exciting industry.
All right, Dr. Sal, thank you so much. I got tons of questions I'd love to keep following with. I do want to encourage you guys, if you're viewers and you'd like to follow up with Dr. Sal, you can track him down through MSU's construction management page. He was definitely worth your time to build a contact with. One of my most precious connections I have from grad school, and I've stayed connected with you. Man, it's been almost 20 years now that I've stayed connected. I keep coming back to you. I keep getting engaged with different things that your program's doing and things outside of the program. Just to stay involved, because there's a certain energy that's comes with being engaged with the program. So
I really appreciate it. I know you have been engaged with the program. You have supported many of our initiatives here with your time, with your money, with your efforts, and coming on this was a delight talking with you. Thank you very much, Art.
Yeah. All right. Sit tight, Dr. Syal. We're going to switch over to Tech Talks now. And this one right here, I'm going to play a video here and talk over it. So we talked about circling back to QR codes. Dr. Syal asked a question earlier, is how do people get access to this? So this is something we're doing on our construction drawings. So a lot of times when people are in the field, they've got a drawing and they're fumbling over, what is this person trying to tell me needs to be built here? And so a lot of times we'll get a call. I don't understand what's going on here. I'm missing a dimension. What's this offset doing? So we put QR codes on the bottom of our drawings now so that they can do a 3D view of just their system, or they could also go to a 3D view of Navisworks to see the entire composite picture of all the systems. And so literally, like I said, these QR codes are simple to grab and put on your drawings. And with a phone, you can quickly scan it. One of the things that's a challenge with these, though, a little bit, is they only have access if you, right now, the system, you have to have access to the system they're housed on. So for example, with us, we use BIM 360. And all of our contractors that we work with, our foremen, have access to this. So we're sharing the drawings on BIM 360. We're sharing the models. So they clicked on that QR code. It takes them to a 3D view of their pipe system here. You can rotate it. You can click on it for information. But the idea is if something doesn't show up clear on the drawing, we can go to the 3D model. We can turn it around. They can see whatever. They can probably answer a lot of their own questions. And a lot of these guys want to be able to answer questions quickly. They don't want to be stuck. They don't want to have to pick up the phone and call me because they've got a million things to do, especially if you're a foreman. Next one, the 3D model here. This one's going to take us to Navisworks. It's again, it's not necessarily Navisworks. It's still BIM 360, but it's a Navisworks model housed on there. So right now, I'm circling there where we're zooming in on. So we zoom in there. This is actually an Amazon warehouse project that we're finishing up right now. And I think it's like short of 1 million square feet. But this little bump out area is where that plumbing was. It takes a second. You'll see here, it fumbles a little bit. You got to learn the software. You got to learn how to navigate. Everyone's different, which is frustrating for us because we're constantly using BIM software from different venues. But sorry, that was the end of it. But they could quickly see that, and that's the gist of it, is you can get in there, see the whole picture, see where the ductwork is, see where the fire protection is. And then if you dial in, you can ask the question of, okay, I might be hitting fire protection if I want to move. And we always tell our contractors too, don't feel like you're stuck with what we give you. We want to make sure that you can make informed decisions, because a lot of times I don't have the expert knowledge you have. So you might find something better than I can think of, and don't hesitate to do what you think is the right thing. We can always update the models later. But again, this is just a small thing, doesn't take a lot of time and effort. And our, at Collaborative, one of the things we always push for is that we're making their teams more productive in the field, more efficient, reducing waste, and engaging them with information to make the best decision they can while they're building a system. So again, Dr. Syal, I know you asked that question earlier. Anything to add to that one? Or?
No, it makes sense. This is something slowly more people have to understand. The access has to be better, and people are getting more and more comfortable with these things, and that will bring more efficiency.
One of the things that I always guide when I make a decision for technology, because I'm constantly, like I said, trying new stuff, is I'm always thinking of the end user. What I give them, are they going to be able to use it? Is it simple? It's got to be simple. It's got to be helpful and simple. If it's too complex, too many steps, people won't do it. So that's just something. So just bringing the conclusion of our show, first season here, or first episode here, is something simple, QR codes and how it helps. We're going to get into more complex things as we go on with different guests. But again, I thank you again, Dr. Syal. This has been fun. And I will definitely follow up with you on future endeavors.
Thank you very much. It has been It has been great to be here. Honored to be on your show here, Art. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And this concludes it.